All right. Welcome. Another episode of Bet the Beach Live. The date is not May 29th, 2024. No, in fact, it is June the 5th, 2024. And we are very, very happy that you could join us here today. A big day, I think, for beach volleyball. And again, welcome. Bet the Beach Live, June 5th, 2024. If you missed it, and if you're not on the social medias, I would love for you to hop on the social medias. I really appreciate that. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm getting better at that. If you've been following along the socials on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all that, you've seen me add it to my story, post it, repost it. I considered briefly going live in the middle of the night last night because if you've been following along in the qualifiers for the final Elite 16 Olympic qualification, you would know that pretty much all of the Olympic final races could have been determined in the overnight hours, if you're here on the East Coast of the United States, Eastern Time, between the hours of about 1 and about 7 a.m., all of the remaining Olympic qualification races could have been decided. As it turns out, all but one did. Trevor and Theo losing in the first round of qualification to, let's actually pull that up for you right now. Let's get you all of the goings-on that happened last night. We'll start there. We'll start by getting you an update on everything that went down last night in the world of beach volleyball. Trevor Crabb and Theo Brunner playing Fechner and Winter, a German team not going for Olympic qualification, but a German team that is very talented, plays a young, explosive, hoppy type of volleyball. And Fechner and Winter doing a spectacular job in that match. Been playing very good volleyball lately. You really do like to see that. And they've been playing some good volleyball. And they were able to, as I adjust that really quickly there, they were able to defeat Trevor Crabb and Theo Brunner in 3 sets, as you see there, 21-13, and then Trevor and Theo took that second set, 26-24, and then they lost that third set, 12-15, and that enables them to not score any more points in Olympic qualification push. And if you've been following along, you know that they needed a big result here in Ostrava in this Elite 16. What does that mean? It means that Chase Budinger and Miles Evans are Olympic bound.
Shit, let's go. You're an Olympian. Let's fucking go, man. It's Germany!
Going to Paris. Amy! Yeah. Going to Paris. Woo! It's official. Yes! Yes, babe.
Yes. Is that Jess? Jess! Yeah! Let's fucking go! Woo!
It's official.
Oh my god.
Could start planning now.
So wait, Miles.
You, Miles!
Does
You!
that feel good?
You! Fuck yes!
Let's
Let's go!
go to the pub. What are you doing? Fuck this guy.
Sure.
So there it is. That's the moment that Chase Budinger and Miles Evans found out that they were headed to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Chase Budinger will become the first player in history to play in the National Basketball Association and then to represent the United States in Olympic beach volleyball, or to represent any country in beach volleyball. And it has been all over the news today. ESPN picking up the story. Ex-NBA player Chase Budinger secures Paris Olympics for beach volleyball. That's from The Athletic. ESPN picking up the story. Ex-NBA player Chase Budinger makes Olympics in beach volleyball. All over, up and down. The AVP giving a little story about Chase Budinger. NBA to AVP to the Olympics, first in history to do it. Richard Jefferson commenting in there from the ex-NBA player there. Now does studio work for the NBA. Richard Jefferson getting into the group. Matthew Dellavedova hopping in there in the comments. So a lot of people very happy to see Chase Budinger scoring his ticket, him and his partner Miles Evans. They are headed to the 2024 Paris Olympics. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but let me get you through all of the stories from overnight and all the Olympic implications. So we talked about it last week. The Netherlands on the men's side, 3 teams for 2 spots. Brouwer Meuwersen had the spot and have had the spot really for the last 16 months. Lost it last week. Needed a big result here today or this weekend. They lose to Austria in the first round of qualifiers. So Alex Brouwer and Robbie Meuwersen are out of the Olympics, and the Netherlands will have 4 fresh faces headed to Paris here in about a month in Bormans and De Groot, as well as Matthew Emmers and Steven van de Velde. So that's the story on the men's side for the Netherlands. Let's work our way down here. Chase and Miles did win their first match in qualifiers, and they found out the news and then lost their second match in qualifiers. So Chase and Miles, I guess a disappointing result in Ostrava, but I think they're going to take it. I think they're going to be okay with what happened here today as they punched their ticket to the 2024 Olympics. Another important result here, Austria's Hoel and Horst winning in the first round of qualifiers, and then Chile's Grumalt Cousins losing in the first round of qualifiers. They have a tie right now for the final spot in Olympic qualifications, but Hoel and Horst do have the tiebreaker, which is gross points during the Olympic qualification cycle. So the Grumalts will not qualify via points, and the final men's Olympic spot will go to Austria's Hoel and Horst. The next game, another big one, the German race. 2 teams for 1 spot. We already know that Mueller and Tillman are in, so it comes down to Sandra Ittlinger and Carla Borger versus the legend Laura Ludwig and Louisa Lippmann. And all Ludwig and Lippmann needed to do was hold on. They needed Ittlinger and Borger not to gain any points on them, and Ludwig and Lippmann did that, and they did that in pretty resounding fashion, 21-14, 24-22, sending Ittlinger and Borger home, and Laura Ludwig will be in her 4th beach volleyball Olympics come here a month from now in Paris. And then the final race left to be determined on the women's side is the Swiss race. Not yet decided, but the race will go on. Anouk Vergé-Depré and Joanna Mader win in 3 sets in the first round of qualifiers. Esme and Zoe win in the first round of qualifiers. However, the 2 then would meet in the second round of qualifiers, and the team that needs to keep pushing, that needs to add points, gets the victory. Anouk Vergé-Depré and Joanna Mader win this one. They are on to pool play starting in a few hours from Ostrava, Czechia. And from what I read on Volleyball Mag, the great Travis Merwitter, they need to break pool. They need to win their first round match, and they probably need to win their second round match in order to pick up the points that they need. 320 points that they are behind right now. So the final domino to fall in the Olympic qualification push will happen over the next 2 days, and it's that Swiss race for the final spot in Anouk Vergé-Depré and Joanna Mader trying to overtake Esme and Zoe, Esme Bobner and Zoe Vergé-Depré, sisters there facing off against each other. And that is what we will see over the course of the next few days in Ostrava. Looking at tomorrow, or I guess I should say tonight, these games starting here in about 5.5 hours. Miles Partain and Andy Benish going to be watching them as they face off against the Swedes once again. I think they faced off in the previous Elite 16 in Espinho, Portugal 2 weeks ago. They're in the same pool as Sweden again, and they will start in their first pool play match here in about 5 hours. Anders Mol and Kristen Sorum are back on the beach. Mol, probably the greatest, or at least on the Mount Rushmore of greatest, maybe the second greatest blocker of all time, Anders Mol. Fractured his foot about 6-7 weeks ago, something like that now. Has been sidelined since then, got the surgery, been rehabbing, has been updating you on Instagram of the rehab progress. And Anders back on the beach for the first time, and facing off against Qatar's Sharif and Ahmed in the first round match of pool play at 3:20 this morning Eastern Time. Evandro and Arthur in there, Krau, Gauthier, Rat, vying for the French wildcard spot. Of course, the French Federation gets to decide who that wildcard spot goes to. Perugic and Schweiner coming off their victory last week in that challenge event in Staria Blanchi. And then working our way down, Betsy Flint, Julia Scholes playing in their first international tournament in 2024, and they get the likes of AP and Duda. Not a fun first-round draw for Scholes and Flint, who played very well at AVP Huntington about 3 weeks ago. But this is a rematch of a match that I got to be sidelines for, about 10 feet away, on the second court in Montreal last August, I want to say, maybe end of August. Betsy and Julia were down big in that third set. I mean, I want to say it was like 5-11, something like that, 4-9, something like that. They stormed all the way back and won that on their way to a silver medal in Montreal in that Elite 16 event, a very fun event. So it's a rematch of that, and that's one I will definitely be betting on. And I would love to bet for Julia and Betsy in that one, but I think AP and Duda are going to have a little bit to prove in that one. And I've already seen some odds getting posted, so follow along on the socials, on Instagram and on Twitter. I'll be posting all my bets this week. I'm hoping for another great result like we had in Ospino a couple of weeks ago. Hildreth and Van Gunst for the USA. They are in the main draw of an Elite 16. That's a great draw for them. Kelly Cheng and Sarah Hughes facing off against Uberli and Brunner. Start time for that one is 6:10 Eastern Time. For my Pacific Coast followers, that's 3:10. Moving our way down, Ju and Gia versus Ludwig and Lippmann. Let's see if we got any more. Mel and Brandy are playing against Ermanova and Stoklova. That's a team I like. That's a game that Mel and Brandy will win, however. And then we got a USA on USA pool there. Scholes, Flint versus Hildreth and Van Gunst. Partain and Benish are in the pool with Ehers and Vickler and Poland's Cantor and Zeidbeck. So I would hope that Partain and Benish could at least make a round of 12 out of that pool there. Although, Poland's a good team. I think this is an important result for Miles and Andy. One of the last tune-ups we'll see before we see them on the sands in Paris about a month from now. And that is the day tomorrow for pool play from Ostrava. But really, again, the story of the day, I got to show it to you again. The moment Chase Budinger and Miles Evans found out that they were headed to the Paris Olympics, they're sitting there on their phone. So Trevor and Theo are probably 100 feet away, right? So picture this. Trevor Crabb, Theo Brunner going up against a very good young German team. Third set, and Chase and Miles are, friendly with them. They train with them. They're all USA Beach Volleyball. They live close to them. They see them all the time. And these two teams have been fighting neck and neck for 16 months in order to take this qualification spot and play for the USA. And Trevor and Theo are over here on this court. And Chase and Miles, which classy move, I would say, to not be standing sidelines and watch this go down and not cheer the second it happens. They get a little bit away, right? I don't know the exact layout of that awesome facility in Ostrava, but Trevor and Theo are over here. Chase and Miles are a couple 100 feet away watching on their phone. Miles Evans, too nervous to watch. I read in an article, Volleyball Mag had a quick interview with him, Travis Merriweather, I think the author of that one. But Chase and Miles are here watching on their phone with their coach, the great Ed Keller, beach volleyball historian. And Trevor and Theo lose the match. Chase and Miles find out they're going to the Olympics.
Shit, let's go. You're an Olympian. Let's fucking go, man. It's Germany!
Not in it.
Going to Paris.
Amy! Yeah.
Going to Paris. It's official.
Yes!
Yes, baby.
Is that Jess? Jess, yeah! Let's fucking go! Woo!
Going. It's official.
Oh my god.
Could start planning now.
So wait, Miles.
You, Miles! You!
Doesn't that feel good?
You!
Fuck yes.
Let's go!
Go to the pub. What are you doing? Fuck this guy. Go to the pub.
Sure.
You got to love that. Go to the pub. F this game. Go to the pub. Go celebrate. Ultimately, it's what they did. Lost in the second round of qualies, headed home from Ostrava, but headed home with a ticket punched back across the Atlantic Ocean, back to Paris here, come July 26th, 2024. So your Olympians for the USA are settled. On the women's side, Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes. Kelly Chang making her second Olympic appearance, qualified in 2020 Tokyo with Sarah Sponsel. So Kelly going back to the Olympics for her second appearance. The second women's team, Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss. The youngsters out of LSU came on the scene and came on fast. I remember listening to a Sandcast episode. Nick Lucena said they got to split up. There's no way they're going to be able to get the points to do what they need to do to get to their goals without splitting up, taking on a veteran partner, getting their game right, and then maybe get back together eventually. And Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss never did a lick of that. They went out to a few futures events, won their first challenge event. I think they were in first or second. They've never looked back. Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss have been on this domestic or international tour now for 3 years, I believe. Part of 1 year and then 2 full years at this point. And they are qualifying, and they will be representing the USA in the Olympics, and they have a very good chance. They are one of 3 or 4 teams that have very good odds to win in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Meanwhile, on the men's side, Miles Partain, Andy Benish stormed up through the charts last year, had back-to-back-to-back events, silver, bronze, gold, or some order of those 3, in Elite 16s last season on the Beach Pro Tour. They basically punched their ticket at that point for Paris, and they've never looked back. Kind of a slow start to the 2024 year, trying to get right for a month from now, maybe not for the spring. But Chase and Miles have had that locked up. And the final entrant, the 4th of 4 teams that the USA will send to the Paris Olympics, we just found out last night, ex-NBA player Chase Budinger and Miles Evans. If you don't know Chase Budinger, American professional beach volleyball player, well, he played in the NBA. Drafted by the Pistons in the 2009 NBA draft, immediately sent to the Houston Rockets. I think it was a draft night trade, if I recall correctly. Played for the Houston Rockets for 3 years, then went to Minnesota, played for Minnesota for 3 years. He was in the slam dunk competition, I believe, in the NBA. I don't know if he won it or not. Played for the Pacers, Phoenix Suns, and then in 2017 he retired. He made his debut on the AVP Tour with Sean Rosenthal in 2018, Rosie. And in 2019, when I started watching beach volleyball, he was playing with Casey Patterson. I watched him win a few events on the AVP Tour in 19 and 2020. Him and Casey Patterson playing some good volleyball. And then, just recently, about a year and a half ago, partnered up with Miles Evans. He was with Troy Field before that. Partnered up with Miles Evans. Miles Evans' game has developed and kept developing over the course of the last 16 months. And Chase and Miles, a team that 16 months ago was probably 5th on the depth chart in the USA. If you were putting odds on who was going to qualify for the Olympics come January 1st, 2023, you're saying Triborn Came Shock, Miles Partain, Andy Benish, Trevor Crabb, Theo Brunner, Taylor Sander, and Taylor Crabb, and probably Chase Budinger and Miles Evans are probably the 5th highest odds 16 months ago or now at this point 18 months ago from January 1st to qualify for the Beach Olympics, for the Paris Olympics, and Chase and Miles were able to do that last night. So credit to them, just a spectacular run for them, and picked up all over the place. Picked up by The Athletic, picked up by ESPN, picked up by NBC Sports, picked up by just about every news outlet. Yahoo Sports has it. The New York Times has it. USA Today has it. CBS Sports has it. Arizona, SB Nation has it. So people very, very excited. And I think it's good for the sport of beach volleyball because now you have a name in the USA, name that people know from a big league in the NBA who's going to be out there on the sand representing the country. And they're not going to be a favorite, and they're not going to medal, I wouldn't say. But they can compete. And they're going to be out there, and they're going to be in the Olympics representing the country, which is what really counts and which really matters. So very, very exciting to see that. Congratulations to the fellas. You'll love to see it. Let's move on now to our just quick look at what I just said about the Olympic standings. Everything now settled. Brower and Mewison are out. Trevor and Crab, Theo Brunner are out. And Horl and Horst are in. So exactly what you see there in white are your qualifying teams for the Olympics. So now that's 17 teams there. You got your 18th team for your world champs. You're going to have your 19th team as your wild card from France, and then you get your 5 continental championships. So North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa will all put together a tournament over the course of the next 6 weeks. And in that tournament, any federation that does not already have 2 qualifying spots in the Olympics can qualify a team by winning that tournament for that continent. So, for example, in North America, you're going to see the Canadians, Sam Schachter and Dan Deering. They will be one team that you'll be see competing for that. With Cuba qualifying, probably your second best odds go to Mexico. I think it's Viragen and Saliba for Mexico are probably the best team there. But one of those teams will make it. Grimault, even though they did not qualify via points, they do have the opportunity to now qualify via that South American Continental Cup. And that'll get you from the 18, the 19 with the French wild card bid, and then 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 are your continental qualifiers, 5 of them for the 5 continents. On the women's side, exactly what you see there is what is going to happen. The teams that could overtake Lily and Paula from Spain, Pav and McBain, did not make it into the qualifications. They were on the reserve list. Finland, same story there. And the teams below them, Bansley and Bukovic, the only team that could have passed them, lost in qualifiers overnight. So the final spot goes to Lily and Paula. Ludwig and Lippmann are in. Iltinger and Borger are out. And the last Olympic domino to fall will fall sometime over the course of the next 3 days. And it's which Swiss team makes it between Esme and Zoe and Verge Dupre and Mater. Finally, let's take a look at your odds to win in Ostrava, Czechia, June 5th through the 9th. And like I said, I'm going to be gambling a lot on the next few days because we got a system. The system's working. We like the money lines. Lately, the set spreads favorites have been doing us well. So anything like minus 200 or better, if it's a money line or a set spread favorite and we like it, we're going to put the money down and we're going to see where that goes over the course of the next few days, and I'll get you an update on that next week. But we like Amon and Helvig to win this thing. I got Moll and Sarum down there at plus 500. I do think that recovery is going to be a little tough. I don't think the mobility is going to be there, and I think it's a very important thing for a guy that's jumping the entire tournament. So I'd be surprised to see them win, but you never count out, one of the greatest teams ever to play beach volleyball. I think Peruzic and Schweiner are one of the best teams in the world. I got them at plus 400. And then it's all the teams that you'd expect to be. George DeAndre, a little bit off that. If you're looking for some good odds, I would say a team that hasn't quite broken through yet, but if you're talking about just odds to win, I do like Nicolai and Kadofava there at plus 1,200. I think you can get some good money there. Brower and Mewison are out, obviously. Crab and Brunner are out. Grimault and Grimault are out. So I think some of your best odds there to win this thing would probably be, if you're looking for some long odds, Nicolai and Kadofava, but I think Alman and Helvig probably win this thing as they win most Elite 16s that they enter into. AP and Duda, look for a bounce back for them. I'd be surprised if they weren't, in the action on final Sunday, if they're not on the podium or at least in that bronze medal match. But they got your best odds to win there at plus 200, followed by Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes. TKN taking the tournament off, so they will not be out there in Czechia this week. Mel and Brandy been playing good ball right now. Stam and Shkun, same thing. Guittardi and Menegatti are a team that I'm waiting to break through. A little bit of inconsistency left, in their game. See if they can kind of work that out. I don't think that they're going to be, podium favorites in Paris, but I do think that they're a team, if they stay together, they can be maybe for LA in 2028. They're a good team. They're not yet a great team, in my opinion. If you want some long odds here, Bruner and Huberli have shown the ability to win a big Elite 16 like that at plus 1200. I don't think that Ludwig and Lippmann have it in them still to win an Elite 16 at plus 2,000, but maybe sprinkle a little bit there. Stam and Schoon, I like that at plus 600. So if you're going to take some money and want a little bit of a long odds there, go Stam and Schoon at plus 600. I got them now winning here in Ostrava, Czechia, over the course of the next couple of days. That'll do it for me here today. Quick show, get you in, get you out. Next week, we'll have a recap of Ostrava, and now we kind of stop and we turn and we look towards the next 6 to 8 weeks because we do have a little bit of time here without some big events. I think we have about 3 weeks off, and then we have a couple of Elite 16s pre-Olympics that are not qualifying. They are just maybe tune-ups for some of these teams. So they'll be good tournaments to watch, maybe good opportunities to gamble, I think, since you're going to have some new teams in there, teams that maybe we know better than the books do a little bit, because they're not the high-level teams that you're used to seeing so much. So maybe some good odds there, good opportunities to gamble. We've got a couple of Elite 16 or a couple of AVP, what are we calling them now, contender events. I think we have Denver and Wapaka at the same time as those two Elite 16s, and then we have Paris coming up July 26th, I believe. So we're still about 6-7 weeks away from that. So we do have a little bit of a slow period now. We're entering a little bit of a slowdown. It'll give us opportunity to catch up. We can start taking a look. We did post some Olympic odds to win going back maybe 3-4 months. So I think next week we'll revisit what we had, and then we will get you the updated Olympic odds to win. And then it's time to start looking at odds to podium, odds to get top 10 finish. We're gonna have a whole litany of good odds for you coming up, and we're gonna be wall-to-wall Olympics here in about a month. Bet the Beach going to be following beach volleyball from Paris as it comes in overnight, doing some live streams, doing some watch-alongs. So I hope you'll stay up late with me if you're on the East Coast, or if you're on the West Coast, stay up even later with me and watch some beach volleyball. Get me on the second screen, and we can hang out and talk some beach volley and watch some beach volley and root on our 4 Olympic men's and women's teams for the USA. And again, we now know the 4 teams from the USA that are qualifying: Kelly Chang, Sarah Hughes on the women's side, Taryn Cloth, Kristen Nuss. On the men's side, Miles Partain, Andy Benish. And just overnight, we found out Chase Budinger, ex-NBA player, now beach volleyball Olympian, with his partner Miles Evans. They are representing the United States in the Paris 2024 Olympics here this summer. That'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Oh, little note. See the court out back there? Yep. So we did start the Sandbar League. It's our co-ed men's and women's. Started last week. Yours truly, Lindsay, my wife. We were paired up last week. You play with a person of a different gender every week, so just chance we got to play together the first week. We went 1-3. So you got 6 people, 3 men, 3 women here. You got 6 people, 3 men, 3 women on the other side of town playing. Random draw gets shuffled up every week. So you know what? Next week I'll get you our standings. I'll post the standings up here so you can see exactly where everybody's at. But not a great showing for yours truly. Lindsay played great, as she always does. She's fantastic. She can pass the ball and hit the ball and little slices and cutties, just spectacular. I'm regularly the worst player out in the sand when I play in these leagues, but I sure do have a good time. Try to anyway. Sometimes I get a little upset with myself. My passing was a little rough last night. I get the yips. If anybody has any suggestions there, I'm not a great passer, but I can do it. But if I shank a couple of passes, especially out there in doubles, and then they keep serving me, whoa, it is a nightmare. It's just bad. I only started playing, 5-6 years ago, so I'm not all the people I'm playing with have been playing their whole lives. Lindsay got me into the sport, so we do have fun. I try to have as much fun as I can. I wish that I could get through those moments when I get the yips and I start shanking balls and spraying the ball over the place. But we had some fun. 1-3 last night. Next Tuesday is week 2 of the league, so I will get you some Sandbar League standings up here at the end of the show, so you can follow along and see who's winning and losing. Doug Starbird on the men's side won 2 years in a row. Matt Mercier won 3 years ago. This is the fourth year of the Sandbar League. On the women's side, we've had a different winner every year. So we're we got 2 returning champions on the women's side. So we'll try to knock them off. Try to get a new champion come the end of the summer. Anyways, that is it. Thank you for joining me. Bet the Beach Live, June 5th, 2024. We'll talk to you next week.